Hello, I haven't put on my face yet, so you're getting masked, so. Anyway, let's talk Star Fox. So, yesterday, we got a shadow drop Nintendo Direct focusing on Star Fox. And, you know, I am kind of disappointed, but at the same time, uh, we could have expected it because obvious reasons. I could talk a little bit more about the gameplay, but I want to focus a little bit on the things, the absolute positives that I can say about it, which is the presentation. The graphics, I think they look pretty darn neat. Could we say that this is the best looking Nintendo published game yet? Because I think it is. This looks definitely like it was made for the Nintendo Switch 2 in mind, instead of other games like Bonanza that were designed first for the Switch 1 and then when brought up to the Switch 2, which they still look good, but not Switch 2 levels of good. As a matter of fact, I remember looking at Donkey Kong Bonanza, playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, and thinking, is this what the Switch 2 is capable of? Because it didn't look like the best that the Switch 2 could do, especially when you consider games like Cyberpunk 2077, Resident Evil Requiem, Pragmata, those games that were on the Switch 2 and look technically a bit better than what Bonanza could do. But then we have Star Fox 2, and it's like, oh yeah, here's the Switch 2 games. Here's what the Switch 2 can do when we get our hands on it. And it's like made with the Switch 2 in mind. That's what it looks like. It looks really good. The character models, I know a lot of people are very mixed on the character models. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm leaning towards liking them, especially my boy Slippy Toad. He looks spot on. I see a lot of criticism heaped upon Falco because, especially around his chicken legs, like why did they give Falco chicken legs? I don't know. But overall, I think the visuals are good, especially when it's in the gameplay itself. I think the visuals look absolutely fantastic when the gameplay itself is happening. And then, the story seems to be expanded upon the original Star Fox 64 with like more cutscenes, which showcase the personality of the characters a bit more, which I appreciate because it really shows, especially with what they showed with like my boy Slippy Toad. I am really appreciative of what they did with Slippy because he is no longer like this bumbling fuck up, but actually feels like an engineer with a bit of an autistic side, which honestly affectionate. There's definitely a reason now of why he is on the Star Fox team. But let's talk about the gameplay because it's Star Fox 64 again. You can already play Star Fox 64 on your Nintendo Switch. You just pick up a Nintendo Switch, boot up the N64 NSO app, and you can play Star Fox 64. It's not a big secret that you can just do that. Hell, let me see if I can find footage of me having played Star Fox 64 on stream, because I have. It looks great. It seems to be playing at 60 FPS. I do appreciate the mouse mode bit because it shows that they're thinking about ways to spice up the gameplay with mouse mode, with challenge mode, with expert mode unlocked from the start. But this game just does not do enough to justify its existence, with the sole exception of it being a reintroduction of the series to people who probably weren't alive when the last Star Fox game appeared, which was in 2016. Which, by the way, there's people alive now that are playing video games that were not alive when Star Fox Zero came out. So I understand that. But the fact that these people could play Star Fox 64 on their Nintendo Switches, I just wish they would move this franchise forward. Or if they're going to be retelling the Lilac Wars, just do it in a different way. For as much criticism as Star Fox Zero gets, at least they have the thing where it's new levels, new gameplay, quote unquote. But this is just Star Fox 64 again. Sure, it has an online component. Sure, it has challenge mode with achievements. Sure, it has a new VTuber mode, but what else does it have? On the plus side, it's $50 digital, so not really that expensive when you consider, new Switch games are usually $70. So there's that. Am I gonna get it? Maybe. It depends on how I feel because I could just play Star Fox 64. In fact, after the presentation, I played a run of Star Fox 64 just to see how polished I am. And I feel like my skills have been dimming a bit because I usually am within like the 1500 score range and I went down to 1300 on this latest run. So I'm gonna practice again. But yeah, I don't know if I wanna spend $50 on yet another version of Star Fox 64. So you guys tell me if it's good, and then maybe I'll pick it up. Thanks for watching me ramble about a game that I am strangely passionate about. I'll see you guys later. Bye.